Right, welcome. I'm sort of sitting in the end of the garden and underneath a lot of trees. Yep, it's the office for the moment. The last talk I was mentioning about technique and technology trapping you in a way of, creative processes. Today I wanted to talk about some ways of being able to get out of those traps. Often what happens is that we have a series of strategies that we're using, for want of a better word, and they lock into sort of various sensory aspects. So in NLP, we look at these as the sort of modalities of auditory, visual, and kinesthetic feeling, and obviously there's taste and smell. And obviously within music, you can incorporate those ideas when you're studying a piece of music by just picturing what the music's about and putting yourself into that environment. So if you're thinking of a piece of music that makes you think of a Spanish village, you can imagine the smell of the cooking or something, as well as what it looks like where you are, what you feel like, what you're hearing, and what you're seeing. So the interesting thing here is that what happens with the senses is that they trigger sort of responses, mental responses, and in the creative process, that can mean that you can come up with something completely different by changing the sort of modality that you're relying on. And the evidence of this, of course, is if you wrote a piece of music on a guitar, you did that a lot, the songs start to sound a bit samey, but if you then swap over to a bass or a keyboard and then you wrote something, it will come out to be completely different. So it's a sort of a modality thing like that. So if you're using an auditory skill, maybe you should sort of write a piece or use more of a visual skill, like stare at a painting or something like that. These are really simple ideas, but really very profound. Because you see, the problem with us is that we are habitual. So we tend to do the same things. And you just need to change the habits in order to come up with something different. So think about that with regard to what you're doing. So for instance, as an example, you're looking at how you're practicing, and instead of doing the same thing with your practice, where you might be reading a piece of music or something like that, work from something that's like a backing track, or and I've done this with pupils quite a bit, where you can maybe look at a picture and then play a piece of music that's based on the emotion of the picture. Some of these ideas seem a bit crazy, but they're really very effective when you sort of engage with them. So anyway, that's a little bit of NLP in the mix. What we're probably going to be doing next is to look at how we can achieve and goal set, which is a big subject in itself. And a lot of people have written a lot of very successful books about this. So we'll see how we go.